So what in the world do we have right here? Yes, you probably noticed a brand new update just dropped. We'll talk about it. And Space Marine 2 enters very uncanny valley territory here. We'll talk about what is going on right here and the implications for gaming entirely. So yeah, we gotta dive into this as well. We'll also be talking about some optional stuff later, operations mode, how that can be improved, and yeah, some things going on around, of course, the sniper that is irritating a lot of players. But yeah, let's dive into what is going on with the brand new update. We're now in patch 3.1 territory. So what did the 0.1 add to the game? So check it out right here. It goes on to say this: fixed several crashes, fixed heavy stutters on some CPUs. They also fixed launch issues on Linux and Steam Deck, and they fixed an issue with dynamic resolution and ultra wide screens. And they also addressed an issue with upscalers using the wrong resolution parameters. But you're probably wondering, hey, is that all that is going on here? Because you may remember that there was heavy indication that we would be getting a patch this week. Well, that is going to be labeled just as a hot fix for now. And of course, the major patch is still forthcoming later on this month. But yeah, there was some noteworthy stuff on there. Some of you guys were really complaining some of those issues regarding stutters on CPU. And then of course, Steam Deck and Linux is getting some support there. So that's good news. And yes, finally, ultra wide screen fixes as well. So yeah, it's good to know that they're moving in the right direction continuously with this game. But we did have some questions, of course, for the dev team as well. Check it out right here. Hey, absolutely loving Space Marine 2. I'm a big Grey Knights fan, and while they probably won't make a showing in the game, I was wondering if they will eventually get a cosmetic pack down the line. The response is this from Oliver, our creative director, who says, hey there, Grey Knights are quite different to the Ultramarines in their role and abilities, meaning they would need more than just cosmetics. They are an amazing chapter, but we'll have to see if we can find a place for them in the game. Sounds like it's a bit more complicated than just throwing them into the game, so I wouldn't be holding your breath too much on that one, although I have seen that highly requested for future updates. But hey, it would be really, really cool to see. I also wanted to talk about operations and how they're kind of getting a little bit stale to some players. Of course, that's normal. I myself, I'm still enjoying the hell out of this game, don't get me wrong. But some players are really, really wanting to see some updates to keep it fresh. We're seeing some things happening with Helldivers 2 that are keeping things fresh. And let's see if Space Marine 2 can, you know, kind of go in the same route here. But check it out. It says Operation Modifiers. Seen a lot of people saying they're burning out on operations and thought this could add some extra life and replayability. So give operations a number of good and bad modifiers based on difficulty. Some examples: Gaunt swarms, high gain aspects, has detected large swarms of Gaunts in the MO, doubles Gaunt count in the missions. Now also Astra Militarum survivors, a unit of Astra Militarum, have been cut off en route to your objective. Their Vox chatter indicates a high likelihood they will be overwhelmed unless you help them. Spawns a squad in the map along with a massive wave when you arrive at their location. If you can keep them alive, the survivors will follow you and help you until killed or they reach the drop-off point for bonus experience. I love that sort of thing. Would really add additional like replay value to those maps. Then Spore Shroud. Lowered visibility throughout the mission due to the spores, but reduced enemy detection range. I think you have to be careful when you're messing with anything with visibility. We saw the same thing happen with modifiers with Diablo 4, and it ended up being one of the most annoying things. So I do love the idea. Then we have Lance Strike. There's a targeting beacon on the map. When picked up before a mini-boss spawns, then after a short delay, the fleet fires a lance at the mini-boss when it spawns, removing 1/4 of its HP. We got Shadow in the Warp. Squad periodically encounters hallucinations of enemies due to enormous activity in the warp. Slay a certain number of synapses beasts to temporarily remove the effect and offer a break. That is definitely a very psychedelic concept right there. I kind of like it. It definitely sounds interesting. And then we have Hunter Killer Squad. An elite enemy unit is present on the map and will ambush the squad at an inopportune time. Besting them will provide a morale boost, permanent bonus armor segment for the remainder of the mission. Just a few ideas. There's a lot of possibilities. I love these ideas. Throwing it into current operations, in my opinion, would work. You just have to get to like an open area, and then they change that open area to match what you're kind of like talking about with dynamic random quest lines. Would be really, really cool. And some people think that this is actually one thing the devs are currently working on. They go on to say it doesn't take a whole lot of dev time to reduce relative to the new operation and would enhance the longevity of their popular game mode, I guess, without a ton of effort. It already is common among games of its genre, possibly coming with the Horde mode, which will likely have its own modifiers. 100% agree. This shouldn't be that complicated to throw into the game. Would love to see it. All right, so we got to talk about something that is annoying, the sniper class. Check it out right here. It says, I can't be the only one who absolutely despises this. Every single cape besides the default cover-up, a majority of the pauldrons, I wish to wear the mark of my Primarch proudly. And as you can see, as we scroll through these images right here, how frustrating it is that the cape is obscuring the, of course, insignia of your chapter, which is really, really annoying. So yeah, I totally agree that this needs an update. We'll see if they get to it. I think it's probably going to be maybe minor to them. But according to you guys, yeah, there's 1,500 upvotes on this. So I think they should probably put that on top of their priority list when it comes to addressing cosmetic issues. And, you know, we also have a follow-up here. Cloaks and cloth coverings should all be able to be color customized. Fight me. Seriously, what am I supposed to do with this OD green poncho in 800 colors that look ridiculous under it? Or my bulwark bathrobes only comes in old sailboat cells colors. Just let us color the damn things. It's silly. We have so many different ways to color everything except, and some people argue that it actually matches the lore. And some people are like, screw the lore. Hey, I really want to be able to customize my cape and cloth colors. And I got to mention something that is definitely piquing my interest more and more, and it is AI filters. Check it out right here. Of course, what we are looking at is Space Marine 2, but kind of like modified by AI filters. And yeah, it's not perfect whatsoever, but it definitely does pique my curiosity when it comes to actually upscaling and doing potentially crazy things with old games in the future. Now, this is very rough. It's definitely not perfect, but I think it's pretty cool. But I wanted to show you guys it a little bit uncut. Let me know your opinion on it. If it's like really super uncanny value for you, or if you see potential in the future for this sort of thing.
You have been reassigned. My place is with the Death Watch.
Sir, you served in the Death Watch.
Yes.
That must have been a great honor. It's a privilege to serve with you.
There are those who would see you sent back to the Inquisition. Tread carefully, brother.
Move to defend our west flank and get those heavy bolters resupplied!
Yeah, with this sort of thing, we're only in the infant stage of it, and I'm kind of curious to see where it goes and also what they can do with older games with it. But yeah, there's one old game that you would love to see kind of up-resed with AI, I suppose you would say. What would it be? Sound off in the comments down below. Of course, they got to be careful with this sort of thing. They got to be able to keep the original art intact. That is super important because a lot of these AI filters just absolutely butcher some of these games. But anyway, it's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up right here in a future video, so let's do this. All right, so we have this one right here. Can we just appreciate how upfront and real this studio is? Constantly talking to the community, taking notes, and being real with us. Gotta respect that despite how you feel about the game state. They're really on. I love that. Totally agree. And there's like very little arrogance coming from them. They're very much listening to their community and so far respecting their wishes and not really overdoing it as well. If they do make a change, they seem like having ideas as to why they're committing to it. For example, the difficulty adjustments. Yeah, they made the adjustments, but also for those of you that are kind of like bummed about those adjustments, you still have hope. There's a new difficulty setting coming up, and this is the sort of thing that I do love, that they are aware, hey, you know, although we're making adjustments, and if some people do complain, there are going to be some things that are coming up that are going to make pretty much everyone happy. All right, next up, we have this one. I can appreciate that the way that the single player was set up was reminiscent of the original Space Marine game, but with how much more fleshed out the characters were and how much more involved the writing was, it would have been nice to get to know Gadriel and Charon a bit more on their own, since we did have a whole game, a book or two, with Titus beforehand. I hope we do get to see more of that in the DLCs, because it sounded like those two got up to some major shenanigans before Titus arrived, and the dynamic is one I would like to see expand a bit more in additional stories. I totally agree. It would be really cool to see them venture out and tell more standalone stories related to Gadriel and Charon for sure. All right, so next up we have this one right here. We don't just want salamanders, we want chapter accurate character head models. Hell yes. And then we have someone that has played 160 hours max out on every class, weapon, and I still enjoy playing with different weapons, class, etc. I see a player on Ruthless with level 5 Bulwark. I'll do my best to help out or have duplicate class. In the lobby, I always change into a different class. The game is fun and balanced in most cases. I don't know why people complain so much. Kind of cut off there, but yeah, that's great to see that sort of attitude, and it makes the community, in my opinion, thrive even more, that sort of thing. Anyway, there it is. The latest happenings around Space Marine 2. Stay tuned here for more news and updates. As always, I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.
My place is with the Death Watch.